In the heart of Berlin, 1943, the imposing Reich Chancellery stood tall, a stark symbol of the Third Reich's power. Adolf Hitler, with his piercing eyes and rigid stance, looked out over his city from his grand office. The weight of the war pressed heavily on his shoulders, yet his ambition burned brighter than ever. At his feet lay the map of Europe, marked with lines and battlefronts, each representing a pawn in his grand strategy. Gathered around him were his most loyal soldiers, the men who had pledged their lives to his cause. Among them was Hans, a young officer whose valiant efforts on the Eastern Front had earned him respect and a place in this inner circle. Hans stood at attention, his heart pounding in his chest. Despite his fear, he believed unwaveringly in the Führer's vision. Hitler turned to face his soldiers, his voice resonating with conviction. Our destiny is to shape the world. The sacrifices we make are but steps towards a greater future. His words, a blend of charisma and iron resolve, ignited a renewed sense of purpose among the men. They nodded in agreement, their loyalty etched into their expressions. As the meeting adjourned, Hans found himself alone in a corridor, his thoughts racing. He contemplated the complexities of his loyalty. Was it his duty to the Reich, his belief in Hitler's vision, or simply the camaraderie of his fellow soldiers? The war raged on, each day a blend of victories and devastating losses. Hans and his comrades faced the unimaginable on the battlefield, their resolve tested again and again. Bonds were forged in the crucible of conflict. Hans found solace in the brotherhood that formed amongst the chaos. During a rare moment of respite, Hans shared his thoughts with Karl, a seasoned soldier and his closest confidant. Do you ever question it all? What we're fighting for? Hans asked, his voice laden with exhaustion. Karl looked at him, his eyes reflecting the weight of experience. We're fighting for each other, for our homeland. Sometimes it's not the grand vision, but the man next to you that keeps you going. Hans nodded, the words resonating deeply. As the war dragged on, the tides began to turn against the Third Reich. Hans witnessed the unwavering facade of invincibility start to crack. Hitler's once unyielding confidence now seemed frayed at the edges. He retreated to his bunker more often. The final days in Berlin were marked by chaos. The Allied forces pushed closer, and the city trembled under a relentless bombardment. Hans stood with his fellow soldiers, ready to defend their crumbling world. Amidst the smoke and rubble, he could still hear Hitler's voice echoing in his mind, promising a destiny that now seemed like a distant whisper. The inevitable end came swiftly. Hans found himself amidst the ruins, the echoes of destiny replaced by the stark reality of defeat. As he looked around at the remnants of the once formidable Third Reich, he realized that their fate had been sealed not by the grandeur of their ambitions, but by the undeniable truths of war. In the silence that followed, Hans felt a bittersweet sense of liberation. The war was over, and with it, the dreams of a world reshaped by the Third Reich. His allegiance had been tested, and amidst the devastation, he found clarity. The bonds formed in the crucible of conflict remained, a testament to the human spirit's resilience. And in that moment, Hans knew that while their destiny had been shattered, their stories would live on, a poignant reminder of the complexity of loyalty, sacrifice, and the echoes of a bygone era.